Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, back to boxing. Now, man, my boy Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, man, he's fighting Robert Helenius next, and Bronze Bomber, man, Deontay Wilder, when he was reigning, he tied Muhammad Ali's record for title defenses before he ran into Tyson Fury, man, or when he ran into him, that draw counts as a title defense as well. Ever since then, he took some L's to Tyson Fury, and he's back on the grind again, man, against Robert Helenius. Now, people have been asking Deontay Wilder, man, listen, the WBC, they have you ranked so high. Are you willing to fight Tyson Fury again? And my boy Wilder don't back down. He's like, yeah, man, of course I'll fight the guy again. And then he goes into it. But, what people are forgetting is my boy Robert Helenius, man. Robert Helenius, I call him the Nordic King. Some people call him the Nordic Nightmare. He decimated and completely destroyed Adam Kanaki, man. The second time around, stopped the guy. I heard he broke his orbital bone or something like that, or he beat him pretty bad. So that being said, man, when he first beat him, he was ranked extremely high in the WBA. Now he beat him again. He's like ranked number 2 in the WBA sanctioning body, and this is a big deal because a lot of people, like I said, are talking about Wilder fighting for WBC, but they don't understand that Robert Helenius is basically dang near a mandatory for a WBA. He's basically one fight away. Either fighter who wins this fight, in my opinion, could be easily the mandatory or the next guy up challenging in the WBA. Now, what does this mean for sport boxing? Well, this means that Deontay Wilder can pivot away from the WBC and fight Alexander Usyk for the straps right now because he has the titles, right? Tyson Fury, he's eyeing Anthony Joshua. They say they're going to make this Tyson Fury-Usyk fight, but in my opinion, they really don't want Anthony Joshua taking any more L's, so it's only right that Tyson Fury fight Alexander Usyk just because that's still a big fight, and they got to make it while they can, really. Usyk is always going to be on the table, right? He's accomplished so much in the sport of boxing. Him taking one L, I don't think that really matter, So yeah, they're going to make that happen. And yeah, Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, the winner of this fight is most likely going to be the mandatory for WBA, and Usyk's probably going to go the route of the winner of Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius. Now, this is a really big deal because the WBC, when the whole controversy was going on between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, the WBC clearly picked a side, man. They clearly picked the fighter they were backing, and that was not Deontay Wilder. They were backing Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. So that being said, man, Deontay Wilder definitely got a bad taste in his mouth because of the whole situation. Sanctioning bodies are supposed to be neutral. They're not supposed to be, hopping into disputes between fighters, weighing in and defending fighters. That's just not what they're supposed to be doing, because at the end of the day, you got these fighters paying sanctioning fees to these sanctioning bodies, and that's just disrespectful. Not only are you disrespecting the fighter, but you're disrespecting the sport of boxing as well, because why would someone want to fight for your title if you're paying these guys, if the fighters are paying you to be in their top 10 or 15 or whatever, and these sanctioning bodies are clearly playing favoritism, right? They're leaning toward one way or the other with these fighters. Should not be in these sanctioning bodies. It should be completely indifferent at best, So with all that being said, man, the WBA has a lot of, big dogs in it, man. Gervonta Tank Davis had their titles for a while. That was his first title or actually it was the IBF title. But, a lot of big names had the WBA title. I mean, I can go on naming everyone. But the WBA title is one of the premier titles in the boxing, man. Some people say it used to be the WBC, but recent years has dropped. Now it's more like the IBF is probably the most consistent. Let's keep it a buck. But with all that being said, man, this fight is a big deal because, like I said, everyone keeps talking about Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury over again, but really, it's Usyk versus Deontay Wilder, and that's a much more exciting fight because, Deontay Wilder has a lot of experience with southpaws, i.e., Luis King Kong Ortiz. Deontay Wilder fought an in prime, undefeated Luis King Kong Ortiz, who didn't have his chin tested or cracked. He basically a virgin at the time. The guy was undefeated. He could not be stopped, and he was the boogeyman. Andy Ruiz just beat Luis King Kong Ortiz, but he had to hurt him early. and he wasn't really trying to box Ortiz, he was trying to stop Ortiz, and basically that got him the victory, you know. And it was wild because the first punch Andy hit King Kong with was the right hand. Now, obviously, he's watching those Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz fights because he basically, you know, watched film and threw the certain punches that worked on Ortiz, which was a straight right. Now, later in the fight, Andy Ruiz did land some signature right hooks that Deontay Wilder did not land on Ortiz. But, you know, the blueprint was already there to beat King Kong Ortiz because Deontay Wilder did it, and he did it twice. So all that being said, man, you know, this fight between Robert Helenius and Deontay Wilder is a really big one. Robert Helenius is looking great lately. The fight with Al-Kadaki, he basically toyed with the guy who made him look like he didn't belong in the ring with him, man. And I've always been high on Robert Helenius, man. A lot of people take these L's too seriously, man, because Robert Helenius did lose to Gerald Washington, right, by knockout. Right, I believe it was like 10th round or something like that, right? And people just kept calling him a bum, and he's this and that. The guy's no chin. People, man, they just, you know, people take L's in boxing, man. That's just the nature of the sport. All these guys are big dudes. Anyone can knock anybody out, right? So all that being said, man, you know, we're going to see how this whole thing plays out. I hope Deontay Wilder goes the other route of Alexander Usyk, because what's more impressive, a guy having one title or a guy having 3 titles? So Deontay Wilder going the Usyk route, that's the best thing for him because there's just more possibilities, right? If he happens to fight Alexander Usyk, right, there's so many mandatories that Deontay Wilder can fight. There are already big names, right? You know, Danny Dubois on the cards. I mean, I can go. Michael Hunter's on the cards. Even fucking, you know, Huey Fury's on the cards. Dillian White. I mean, I can keep going on and on. But these are, when you have 3 different titles, you have 3 different mandatories, right? So Deontay Wilder fighting for the title, and just the possibility of having the titles and defending it, well, it adds to his resume. And his resume of, oh, well, he only had one of the 4 titles. Well, that would be history if he can get past Robert Helenius and then fight Alexander Usyk, because Deontay Wilder always has a puncher chance. And let's keep it a buck. Anthony Joshua was rocking Alexander Usyk in those fights. The second fight, right? Deontay Wilder hits a lot harder than Anthony Joshua. Let's keep it a buck. And we haven't really seen him master the body shot. But from what I've seen, then the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 3 trilogy, those body shots look like they hurt Tyson Fury. He wasn't really trying to come forward. If Deontay Wilder gets more composed, right, he'd be much more devastating, man. He'd be much more devastating. Not only that, he just started with Malik Scott, so it takes a while to absorb all the knowledge you need to, right? So this is going to be a big fight, man. I'm really excited to see it. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Do you guys really want a Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight? Or do you guys want to fight Alexander Usyk? Not only would it be a good resume booster if he can get past Usyk, you know, it will re-legitimize Deontay Wilder as being the best heavyweight. Maybe it's a style matchup. Maybe Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, but he can't beat Usyk or Anthony Joshua. Who knows? Maybe Tyson Fury, it's a rock, paper, scissors game with different styles. Maybe Deontay Wilder couldn't beat Fury, but he could beat the other fighters. We just don't know, man. A lot of times, people are already trying to call Tyson Fury the GOAT when he doesn't. He only fought one guy. He fought one of the 3 kings, right? Outside of himself, one of the 4 kings, right? So Deontay Wilder is one of them. Anthony Joshua is one, and Alexander Usyk is one too. You can't just beat one guy and just call it quits and call yourself TBE. That's not how things work in boxing, right? So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. A lot of people are sleeping on Anthony Joshua, and I think him training with Robert Garcia, is actually a good thing. Me personally, I would love to see him train with Errol Spence's trainer. I think that's a much better Derek James, because he goes to the body really well, he boxes really well, but he makes you go to the body more consistently along with boxing, right? Anthony Joshua did good in the Alexander Usyk fight. He hurt him a lot of times in the fight, but he never tried to empty the tank in that fight. So that being said, man, I do think that Anthony Joshua was much better, much more well-rounded fighter in the second fight with Alexander Usyk. He didn't let his hands go. He didn't empty the tank like he did in that Klitschko fight. You know, he didn't empty the tank. So all that being said, man, you know, Deontay Wilder fighting Robert Helenius, he's going to pivot, man. I'm telling you guys right now, calling it now. He's gonna pivot. He's not gonna fight Tyson Fury again. He's gonna try to fight Usyk. That's the best thing that could be done. And let's keep it a buck. Before this undisputed fight happens, there's just money to be made before that. And if you consolidate all the belts into one big I'm undisputed thing, it sort of takes away from the, oh my God, who's going to be the undisputed thing? That's what everyone likes to hear, because everyone's already trying to crown people without everyone fighting everyone. And that's just not going to cut it, man. That's just not going to cut it. All these guys need to see each other multiple times, man. I'm trying to see it, man. Hopefully the excuses have stopped being made. A lot of people are taking L's. Anthony Joshua took the L. Deontay took the L. And don't be shocked if Tyson Fury or Usyk takes the L too. It happens all the time. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is The Empire. It's you, Boxing Empire. Bitch. Boxing Empire. Bitch.